Gonna work. Hello, internet. And as long as we get like this little fuzzy out of there, I think we're good. Okay, hello, internet world. Natalie here, your favorite worm farming homesteader, and also I'm live streaming on YouTube and on Instagram, and I tried to upgrade the lighting situation, so let me know how you guys like it. But I don't have my system like perfectly down. I'm trying to like bring the cameras closer together so nobody feels left out. It's challenging, but here we are. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Welcome to day 2 of workshop week and of business workshops where we go deeper, talk about business oriented stuff so that you can start making passive income to fund farm dream. Because if there's one thing that I know, it's how heartbreaking a farm dream can be when you feel like it's impossible, when you feel like you're never going to be able to afford it or fund it. And the truth of the matter is, it's completely possible. In fact, people are making upwards of 100 grand, more than that. I mean, 100 grand a month. I mean, that is actually something that people do. And it wasn't until I started seeing 10K months in my business last year after launching different passive income streams that I was like, wow, if this is possible for me, this is possible for other people. And so really 2022, I dedicated myself to learning about this stuff, really on a quest to ultimately bring it to Hey, It's a Good Life so that I could help other people chase their farm dream and help it feel possible. So that's a little bit about me, my background, why I'm here, why are we doing this, why we're talking about this stuff. And I'm just so excited to be here with you guys tonight. It looks like our guest, our surprise guest, just hopped on. And so I felt really torn because there's some stuff that we got to talk about. Like we got to talk about some hard stuff. We're going to get into the hard stuff tomorrow. So please make sure you have your notifications on if you guys are digging this stuff. Make sure you're plugged in. We are doing this thing called the bundle. I call it the resource library. So if you want to upload your homestead and your home business skills, there's tools for both of those in there. And so all you got to do is comment workshop or library, and I will be able to send you a link. So feel free to comment that. Hey friends. And yeah, so that is part of what we're doing this week. But I saw this as this opportunity to just reach more people with this message and hopefully help as many people as we can fund those farm dreams. So here I am. We're going to dive into it tonight. We're going deep with my friend who has had some dreams about some farm school stuff. She was with us last night. She was brave enough to share her heart online. And so I'm going to bring her on here in a second, and we're going to talk about some of her dreams and basically how are we going to help her get there? Because one of the toughest parts when you're getting started is just knowing where to start. And I've been chatting with her, what kind of website does she need, and different resources to equip her for the journey of creating passive income to help fund their farm life and fund bigger dreams that they have. I was like, you know what? Just come on the show. Let's talk about this live. And the beauty of this is that this is a safe place. The beauty of this is that we can all learn together. And hopefully, some of her ideas and some of the conversation inspires you to see what might be possible for you too. And not to say like you should take these ideas for your own, because that's definitely not why we're here. The principles are the same. We never want to be copycats because that won't sell. Your story is what sells. Your transformation journey, like we've been talking about. How do you get people from point A to point B? That is the bottom of sales. That is the foundation of sales, is getting people what they want because you're solving their problem. You're helping them with that transformation. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that with a practical example with my friend. And let's see, where is she? Bring her on the show. So yeah, and you know what? Before I do, let's just say a quick prayer. I know I started this week, gosh, it feels like it's been an eternity. It just started yesterday, workshop week. We started our week off with prayer, and I saw change for of people, you guys. That's all I can say is generational curses, trauma's been lifted, and I want to see that continue to happen for anybody who's catching this live or on the replay. I really am believing in breakthrough for your life and for your business, and that no matter how you grew up, no matter what people said to you, your dream matters. You're here for a reason. You have a passion and purpose, and that can all be packaged into this beautiful business. And so just, yeah, if you're a believer, whatever, you're welcome to pray with me, however you pray, but I'm just going to say a quick prayer for us tonight. So Lord, thank you so much for friends here on the internet. Thank you so much for this space where we can talk about these things. And I just ask that you would be present here. I have felt your peace all night here. And I know that you want to change lives. And I'm so glad to be a conduit for that. So yeah, God, got our conversation and let's have some fun. All right. Amen. Okay. Let's see. How do I do this? There we go. Um, okay, girl, you got to, oh, here we go. There we go. I got you. I got you. I just invited you. So you got to accept. Guys, I'm having like do you guys ever go through like cold water phases? I'm having an ice cold water phase right now. What's up?
Yay! Did it work?
Yeah, perfect. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. I can't believe it's been since October.
I know it's been forever.
Yeah. Oh, your place is so cute. I love those.
Excited.
Yeah, I love those lamps behind you. If people are wondering what this is like our outline for what's coming in our bedroom. We're like building like a built-in, what's it called? A headboard, and I want lamps like that. Do you like those lamps? Are they cool?
I love them actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like our little book nook.
Oh, I love it.
Fun.
I love it.
Totally
Well, thank
fun.
you so much for being so
Yeah.
courageous to like hop on with me last night. I know we've been talking about this little dream that's been brewing in you since really I like met you in person October at Homestead of America. And so we've been kind of having this conversation, dreaming and like kind of figuring out your next steps. And I feel like you're such in a perfect position where a lot of other people find themselves as they're joining us for workshop week of like, I have this dream, but I don't really know how to get there. I have these ideas. So maybe you could share with us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then we'll hop into like this vision you're casting.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to be here with you all. So I'm Rachel. We're with 4 kids in a farm, and in Northern California. And we have this dream of buying this land, and we finally got it, and we're just learning how to garden, and we pasture animals, and we do all the things, and it's kind of hard to like hone down on one thing. I don't know. We just love teaching people. I've been doing this for 6 years, so homesteading and all the things. But yeah, I don't know.
That's great. So you guys are in California. So you guys are in California, about 7 hours north of me, I think. 8 hours north or farther. Yeah, something like that. So we're in the same state, but very far apart. And you guys have a farm. And what kind of farming do you guys do right now? And what does that look like for you?
So we don't do market gardening yet, but we have a flower farm where we do market gardening seasonally. And so we sell flowers at a local market. And then we also do pastured like lamb and pastured poultry. And so we sell at a local market up there too. So that's kind of the farming that we do right now.
Okay, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you have your hands full. Okay.
We do.
So you have a very hands-on, very physical business, but you have this dream about incorporating some other things. And I know you mentioned the idea of farm school, just so we're all on the same page of like, what does that really mean? What does farm school mean to you? And what's a little bit of this dream that you've had? So you've been doing the flower farming thing, you do pastured meat, you take it to the market. That's so much work. So much work. And does your husband still work off the farm, or are you guys full time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so he works off the farm.
So it'd be really cool if we can get some income streams up and running for you guys. That would bring him home. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, that is the dream. That is the dream for so many of us, and it really is possible. So you mentioned this idea of farm school last night. So tell us a little bit about like what's stirring in your heart with that.
I just like envision. So there's so many people out there who are just getting this spark of homesteading, right? They want to get into homesteading, or they want to learn how to farm, or they want to know how do I garden. And I just want to make it like this family friendly, this family thing where we can just come together and teach. And hey, this is how you do it. Don't be scared, because you can start somewhere. And if I can do it, you guys can do it. So it's just, I'm such an encouraging kind of personality. I just want other people to succeed. So I'm teaching people about, the baby steps of what to do. So, yeah, and then just bringing like the kids into it, because like that was one of our dreams. Like we came here because we wanted to do that for our kids. Like we want them to know, hey, this is where your food comes from, and this is how you grow a vegetable, and come eat it out of the garden, or all the things. So just encouraging people along the way and teaching people how to do that. That's like our dream, to do that. So we're like
cool.
actually in the middle of just writing our first, in the background, just writing the scripts and all the things that we're filming and all the things, but it's a lot of work, you guys.
Yeah, it is. It is. There is a way to make it go a little faster with batch stuff, and kind of knowing your I guess your promise, which we should probably talk about a little bit. But you said something really important that I feel like is worthy of highlighting, is like, are these people getting started and I want to hold their hand? And to anybody here watching tonight who's like, I don't know where to start, something we've been talking a lot about in the last 24 hours is know your you and know your who, and know the transformation you can offer another person. And I was reminded, as I was talking with my husband and as I'm hearing you talk, it's like, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to be ahead of the person who's behind you. You just have to be able to hand them the answers. And so you guys have already come so far in your journey of farming and stuff. Don't worry, but if there's people who need you, just
Oh
let me
yeah,
know.
no, that's fine.
But yeah, just as an encouragement to anybody watching, like, I've had a lot of people message me just today of like, I don't know if I could really do this. I don't know if I could develop my own business or develop my own passive income. Where do I even start? How could I teach another person? And it's like, homie, do you think that I was an expert when I launched my first freebie? I was like, hey, this is the stuff that you can get started. And then I started putting it out there, and then that was what my content became about. And then it was like, oh, okay, I know more. I guess I can charge $10 for this. And so it's just like an evolution. And so just an encouragement to anybody out there. There's a story of like a professor who he was just one chapter ahead of the class. He was like this imposter professor. I forget exactly the story, but it's like he wasn't really the professor. He was just reading a chapter ahead of the students and like assigning homework. And he like managed to teach the whole class for the whole semester. And it's like, if you can stay a chapter ahead, you can help the person behind you. So
Right.
if you can do that with farm school, then cool. So it sounds like this is like a family focused thing where you're like helping beginners really understand how they can do this whole farming thing. And it sounds like that would be, again, another kind of hands-on thing that you do like in person. But is there a virtual element that you were considering as well? Because I feel like we talked about a course potentially.
Yeah, so right now that's what we're kind of in the middle of, is we're writing scripts and just making sure, hey, this is what we need to talk about. So right now we're writing a chicken course. So this is what we need, what's the brooding stage? What's this? So does that answer the question?
Yeah. So there was
this is like an online course. So we do everything like on the farm, right? Hands-on, but this is like for people who can't come to the farm.
Yeah.
And it's just like the online piece of it. So
yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about a chicken course. That's right. Because when I was launching the egg aprons, we were like, oh yeah, let's be friends.
Oh yeah, you're
chicken love.
Yeah. Chicken life, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there is this opportunity because you guys do have expert knowledge in the chicken world, and so you're like, let's pass this on to the next person. And so, how are you feeling about the course creation process? How is that going for you guys?
It's going. The brain is a little slow, but it's going really well. I have one of my friends who is a designer. Her name is Amy, and she's been helping us with design and just writing everything out, and giving feedback and being just a really good sounding board. through the whole journey of it all. And so yeah, it's going good.
Good.
I wish it was done yesterday, but you know, it's like things take time and you have to be patient, and yeah.
That's so good. That's so true. So it sounds like you're going to be adding a virtual component to what you guys do, and hopefully that helps you guys scale and add more income monthly. So how can I help you tonight? Because I would love to make it valuable for you and anybody else watching, but where do you feel stuck, or can I help you in any way in particular? Because I have ideas for you, but I don't want to speak out of turn.
Oh my gosh, like all the ideas, I will gladly take them. But it's kind of like, I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, do I jump? Okay, how do I jump? You know, am I making the right steps? Like, you know, we would go back and forth, like, what site do I need, or how do I jump? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Like,
yeah. I think that's a really great question. And so, two things that come to mind for me that I would do and that I did do that helped me a ton is testing your audience as you're going. And you can do that through the creation of a freebie if you don't have one already that's chicken related. So, offering maybe those real top tips that people are asking, and you can do a search on like ask the people. You can look at what are people typing in on Google, and these are all great ways to get ideas flowing. You can ask ChatGPT now. That's like a really big thing these days. Just kind of Googling like what are these beginner chicken keepers needing help with? And even putting yourself back in those shoes of like, what was it like when I was getting started? And what questions did I have? I really like checklists because they're so practical. And if you're an Amazon affiliate or an affiliate with chicken companies, you can get that double dip factor where it's like you're getting that commission for sharing those products that you know and love. And so a checklist offers that ability. So it's like it might be free, but hey, you might be making 50 cents per checklist that you share. And so I would say definitely start testing your checklist. And another thing to consider, and I know you're already in like the script writing process, but one of my favorite quotes as I've been investing in myself and like really delving deep into the marketing side of things, which I think is really important as business owners, is to understand like how do we market ourselves? Because I hired on help last year and it was amazing because it taught me so much about myself. But I was not in a position to continue to be dependent on a marketing agency to help me refine my message and understand why I was doing what I was doing. And so I ultimately had to part ways and basically learn those skills myself. And one of the skills that I learned in kind of up leveling my marketing knowledge is let the marketing determine the architecture of your course. And what I mean by that is like you guys do have a presence online. And so you have this ability to have conversations with people and understand like what copy speaks to them just by showing up and seeing what do they respond to or what do they not respond to. So, even just in this week alone, like as an example for myself, just, being vulnerable, like behind the scenes here, I tend to share a lot about my faith. I never want to like push anybody away, but I'm like, hey, we're going to pray. And I get a lot of messages of like, I'm so glad you prayed. And so like just that little simple act of doing that is a reminder to me of like I'm showing up my authentic self and it's actually speaking to my ideal audience. And that's another thing, the third thing, and I'm sure you probably have already done this, like who's my ideal customer, who's my ideal client for this course? And it sounds like it's a beginner chicken keeper. They're dreaming of the farm. They want to get their kids involved. And so then those are all things that you can incorporate as elements in your marketing, but obviously in your course as well. Like, what does this person actually need? And then how can I like over deliver on that? So those are the things that are coming to mind for me. How does that resonate with you?
Oh, I love it. I think just having like, an outsider's view, hey, this is what you could do better at, or you know what I mean? Just hone in on is important. I'm the kind of person where I'm like, okay, tell me what to do next, or I need that checklist, or just to like check off the box. Okay, I did it. Let's go. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's super helpful. So
Good. Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's helpful. I'm trying to think of anything else that might be helpful. Of course, if you guys have any questions too, feel free to hop in the chat and drop them in there. I don't think I've seen any questions rolled through. I've saw, hey, pretty ladies, thank you so much. Let's see. Same here. Would love to open my garden to local homeschool families. That's so awesome. Um, Maybe we can even just ask people here too, whether you're watching live or catching this on the replay. I mean, if you're a beginner chicken keeper, like what are you needing help with? Affirmation is huge, says Charmaine online. Yeah, so just feel free to chime in too. We can like brainstorm this together. But yeah, as far as getting your freebie out there, I mean, do you have a way to do that currently?
Right now we're using sorry guys. We do we'll make it in Canva. Have you guys heard of Canva? You should know about it if you don't. It's fantastic. Just like a lot of design work in there. And then Flowdesk.
Yeah.
It's like the email. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just for anybody who's like just getting into this, you need a way to create templates or PDFs or checklists or whatever it is. Canva is amazing. If you need a link, shoot me a message. I will get it to you. But also Flowdesk. I love Flowdesk as well. I was going to recommend that because I love that they don't charge you as your list grows. And it's so beautiful and so easy to use. It's like very beginner friendly. Now that I have a course, I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I had set everything up on Kajabi because it all flows well together and it's so easy to send these follow-up sequences, but it's really not beginner friendly like at all. It's not even intermediate friendly or I don't know, I'm not an expert yet, but it's kind of challenging to use. But yeah, being able to collect those emails is really important too. And so having that freebie, if you don't have one already, putting it out there and being like, oh, my ideal client might exist in this email list that I'm collecting. And do you guys do chicken content right now?
I should be doing a lot more. We do some chicken content. Yeah, I should be.
Okay. All right. So let's get a little bit like deeper. Like let's get more to the core of this. Something that's really important as you're developing your offer is knowing that transformation or that promise. Some people call it a virtual sales letter. And so I would be really curious, like, what is the thing that you guys offer people? I mean, very practically, you offer them flowers, you offer them meat, which is huge. But what is that point A to point B thing? And I'm talking like broader than the chicken course right now, because what I want to kind of outline is when you know that promise or that VSL or whatever you want to call it, that's what you can hang all of your other stuff on. You can hang all of your content on that. It brings so much clarity to the conversation and to the process. So, is there like a promise that you can offer other people or that comes to mind? I know this can be kind of tricky and can take some time, but you can think of it in terms of like an Instagram bio, even of like I've been updating mine a lot recently, but like mine says right now, helping motivated mamas, I think, homestead anywhere and make money with passive income. So it's like, this is the thing that I'm helping you do, and this is how I'm helping you do it. And so, is there something that comes to mind for you as you think about what you guys do?
How do you hone it in so detailed? Like, it's like, oh my gosh, we do so much. So how do I hone it in? Like, that's what I have trouble with. It's like, what do I give to people? I'm like, we help people. We help teach people. It's so hard. I don't know. Does anyone struggle with that?
Oh, definitely.
I feel like struggle so hard holding in on it.
Definitely. It wasn't until I forced myself to pick one thing that I saw the value of like niching down. And I think that is one of the more challenging things of being in homestead and farm world. It's kind of like a joke. It's like, I'm such a well-rounded person and there's so much that I want to do to help other people. Like we do so many things and that's so great. But it is going to be worth its weight in platinum, okay? Like beyond gold, platinum to really like create that mission statement, create that promise, create that to be thing. Because when you know that, like, all the other stuff just flows. It's like, oh, well, obviously I have to do this. Obviously I have to talk about this. Now I have
Just
to
like
make this
falls into
content.
place.
Yeah, it really does. And I've been talking a lot with other friends that we both know. I won't name them on here, but like niching down their content instead of like trying to be master of all the things. Like, let's talk about the thing that you wrote a book about, okay? And let's hang all the other content on that, rather than like trying to do a little bit of homemaking and do a little bit of this and do a little bit of fashion and do a little bit of small scale farming. Like, let's talk about this one thing, and then everything else supports that. Um,
Yeah.
and so, like for me, as I'm kind of pivoting from just being the worm farming friend on here and online, it's like, all right, so passive income and like helping people with that while homesteading, like that is my jam. So I'm still going to be talking about the homesteading stuff and showing that like lifestyle piece, but really it's about showing like I found a way to fund my homestead from my homestead, helping
Right.
other people do that. And so that is making like thinking through content just so much easier because, and I know it sucks. I know it sucks to like go through that process. And maybe you could tell us a little bit of like, even just me nudging you in that direction. Like, does that feel like I am maybe putting you in a corner or a box that is like limiting you?
No, I don't think so
Okay.
at all. I think it's important to like, focus on one thing and do it well. Actually, I was talking to my husband about doing that, but just I think it gives a lot more focus, right? A lot more when you niche down and focus on that, that group of people that you can reach. You reach a lot of people, and then after that, you can pick another thing that you can go and teach, or you don't just have to be limited to that one thing while you're niching down. But I still have such a hard time just niching down.
Sometimes we can reverse engineer it too. Like we don't have to think about you because sometimes you're so close to the painting, it's like very blurry. Like we can think about your ideal client and like let's think about these farm school people because I can hear that you have a real passion for them and a real heart for them. Um, tell me about them. Do you have people that come to mind when you think of that ideal client, the farm school family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just I think a lot about like homeschool moms or like homeschool families or just new families starting out in this kind of lifestyle. That's what I think about when I picture them. Okay, this is what we're teaching. Like when we have some people come to our farm and we just go around teaching them, I'm like, this is so fun. Like, why can't we just teach people? I don't know, but
I love that. Hey, before you like say, I don't know, and move on from that, that's so important. That's so important to listen to. And a lot of us do that. We go, oh, I love this one thing, but I don't know. And it's like, no, that's so good. Like that's your soul coming alive saying like, hey, there's purpose here, you know? And so that's
yeah,
encouragement to anybody else watching. Like there's purpose there, for you with that thing that lights you up that you're like, I don't know how to like go farther with this, like there's something there. So let's reverse engineer this a little bit. So when you think of that person, tell me a little bit more about her. We'll just call her for now, the mother of the family.
okay.
Is she like a stay-at-home mom? How many kids does she have? What does she do? What are her hobbies?
Stay-at-home mom wants her kids to see adventure in like the outdoors or the garden or I don't know.
I'm gonna pull up.
Guys, am I the only one that struggles with this?
I know I'm putting you in the hot seat, and I know it's tempting
It's in the
to.
hot seat.
Right. It's tempting to reach out to other people to commiserate, but I'm gonna help you, okay? So I'm gonna pull this up. So let's think of her. So her desires. She wants her kids to know nature, to know where their food comes from.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, desires. Wants her kids to know where food comes from, um, feel more connected to nature. What else? What else does she want? Like a simpler life.
Yeah, like find peace in this kind of find peace from the world. I don't know, like find peace in this kind of lifestyle, in this way of living, because the world's so crazy. Not like we have to go into that, but there's a peace that comes through just living the kind of life that we live.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me how long you guys have been doing this? 5 years, you said?
Yeah, about 6
years.
6 years.
And so what was it like for you when you were in, we'll call her Samantha? Like, what do we want to name her? Does she have a name?
Samantha. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Samantha. Okay. So Samantha is, I think, currently living in suburbia.
Samantha's in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay. She's in a
and her husband wears chicken magazines to look at.
Okay.
That's what my husband used to do.
Okay, this is so good. So tell me more about that story.
And so I guess, like, ideally, like, it would be, I think of myself like 5 or 6 years ago when we were like in a 2-bedroom apartment, dreaming of more land and dreaming of more, basically. I wanted the big garden. So maybe she's dreaming of the big garden in the backyard where she can just throw her kids out there and go pick peas from the garden and teach about it. This is how it grows. And so things like that.
And so, okay, so you were in the 2-bedroom apartment and you guys were both working like traditional day jobs, or you were stay at home?
I would stay at home, and yeah, he worked. And yeah, we just like started looking for land, and we found 5 acres, and it's kind of an impossible situation. We actually were like the backup offer, and so we didn't get the house initially. And but we were in Hawaii, and we're driving on the road to Hana, and a realtor gave us a call. And
wow, how
like,
spiritual is
want that house? Yeah, he's like, do you guys still want that house? We're like, what house? What are you talking about? We didn't get a house. He's like, the one with 5 acres. And we're like, yes, of course we want it. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
So tell me a little bit. I'm going to ask you to get, a little bit more vulnerable here. Tell me what it was like as you were waiting on that, like not the house, but in that season of your life. Like, what pain points did you have? Were you tired of buying meat at the store? Were you wanting to, like, tell me what it was like to be in that position where you're like longing for the farm? Because I know for me, and this is a story that I tell all the time around here, is I used to cry myself to sleep under the covers because I felt like my farm dream is impossible. It's too expensive. Like, tell me what it was like for you to be in that position. You're dreaming of the farm. You're buying chicken magazines. Like, obviously, you're invested in the process. You're in that dreaming state. But like, what was painful about that for you? Because I'm sure, people don't enjoy waiting around.
Yeah, it's hard to be in the waiting room, right? You're just waiting and hoping. We put a few offers on houses and we didn't get it, and we're like, oh, this was the one, and it had land, and when is it going to happen? So it was hard just waiting, but we trusted God and continued to pray about it, and He led us to where we need to be now. So I think just trusting in that is super key. That He's going to put you where you need to be. And
it is super key, but you have to get in touch with the pain to be able to speak to Sam. I know that God is good. I know that He's good.
It's so hard for me.
It's hard for a lot of us. And I am kind of trying to coax you out a little bit. And you don't have to have the same story of like crying under your purple fuzzy blanket like I do, but you like that there were times that were tough, I'm sure, emotionally for you. And if you're one step ahead of Sam, I can bet you $100 that you have some similar pain points to what Sam is experiencing right now. And outlining that and knowing that is going to help you refine that message in your marketing, which is going to help you make a really kick butt course. So I think it's going to be worth your weight in platinum to get in touch with what it was like to be in that place. And so, I mean, was it, I'm trying to think, like for me, the word that comes to mind is like there was this deep longing, and I really struggled with feeling like it was possible. I had a lot of naysayers in my life. I felt really scared too, and I don't know if you ever felt like this, but like I felt really scared to even just say my dream out loud because I was so scared of my family judging me. And they did at first. And then I started sharing my life online, and I did get made fun of by some of the people in my life. But you know what is so funny is fast forward 4.5 years later, those same people are like, "Oh, so how are you doing this?" "Oh, wow. Can you tell me about that?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Remember when they used to make fun of me? Cool." So anyway, tell me a little bit more about that if you're willing or able to go there, because I think it's going to be really good. Like, tell me what it was like. Were you crying under the sheets too, or were you just like,
I would say, well, yeah, no, like it's hard when you long for something and you just can't have it right then. We're so like instant gratification, right? We're just like now. What did Lucid Refuge say? She's like make it worth it while you're in waiting room. Or what did she say?
make your waiting room your classroom is one of her favorites.
Make your waiting room your classroom. Yeah. So one of her favorites. But yeah, for me, I get really discouraged like when our plans didn't pan out. I felt a lot of discouragement, I guess you could say. I don't know. And then
so you're doing good. You're doing good.
You guys, can I just tell you right now, my husband makes fun of me, but like lives are the worst for me. I don't like them. So bear with me. But yeah, those times like back in the day, like when you're just longing for something, it's hard. But I think as we would sit and we would, watch YouTube and find people online and just like, oh my gosh, they're living this kind of lifestyle, what are they doing? And so we'd get books, like we'd get Joel Salatin books and be like, oh, what is he doing? I remember watching him like on the couch, just like, what is this guy doing? It looks fantastic. Like he has chickens on pasture, like what? And they're healthy and they look fantastic. Like I want to do that. I want to know where my food comes from. But waiting's hard.
So your kind of pain point or that relational point that you might have with your target audience might sound something like, I get it because I've been there. I remember being in that 2-bedroom apartment with 2.5 kids or however many you had at the time, longing for the farm and wanting, not wanting, but longing for that connection with my food, seeing that there was a better way, knowing that I had to do something about it. I'm trying to think of some other things that you said in there. I remember sitting on the couch with my husband, just binge watching YouTube videos and wondering how we could make it possible. And I love that story of being on the road to Hana. Like that's huge. You're doing great, Rachel, and your beanie is super cute. Thanks, Keisha.
Thank you.
Yeah, look at you being human, says Headwaters Homestead.
I'm human, guys. I'm real.
And so, and that could be part of your story of like, I remember being on the road to Hana and really just having let go of this dream completely. And then we got the call and it was like, paradise fell in our lap as we were in paradise, or, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
And so something like, chances are you want to do this whole homestead thing, but don't know where to start. And the whole process has been really overwhelming. And so your kind of hook could be something like has trying to start your homestead or has trying to and that's the thing that you kind of want to refine. Like, what are you trying to help people do? Are you trying to help them homestead? Are you trying to help them farm? Trying to provide that connection with nature on your farm. Um, I think another angle too that's important to consider is like the homeschool mom angle of like, um, you want the absolute best for your kids, and so you make the sacrifice to stay home with them. Sometimes it can feel really overwhelming, and you want them to have that time outside, and you want them to get those activities in and connect with nature. Sometimes you run out of ideas for them, bring them to the farm. Come to the farm. And so now we're talking a little bit more
Yeah.
about the farm school thing and not so much the chicken course thing, but I think both are really valuable offers. And as you start to peel back the layers of like, who are you? How did you get here? And like, how can you relate to the people that you want on your farm and in your chicken course? Those are going to be really valuable layers for you because they'll be able to speak to them so much easier and be able to relate to them so much easier. And
I love it.
so if there's like a format for this, it kind of goes like hook, problem, pain points, good news, meet the guide, tell your zero to hero journey, and then remind them, hey, I'm giving your wife a hard time on the live.
She says she's giving me a hard time on the live.
And then showing people, I understand your pain points, but hey, here's the good news. I've been there and now I'm on the other side. And there is a proven process. There are things like, let me save you the time here. There are ways to do this that's going to make it so much easier for you. Like something I always tell people is like, start with poop. Like I started a garden. I had no way. I had no way to feel it because I didn't realize that I needed poop. I needed poop. So start with poop. Like that's my joke. Like you need to start with poop. So there is a proven process. Like don't break your back filling the garden beds without having your compost set up first. And that's just like my little joke around here. But then you would kind of go into introducing your offer of like, hey, this is the thing that we do that helps people bypass all of the heartache that we went through. Like, and I would be so curious to know too about like your farm journey, which we don't have time for tonight, unfortunately, but that would be something to consider too of like, what mistakes did we make and how can we help people avoid those? Because that's going to be part of your value offer of like, hey, we did it the wrong way and you don't have to do it the wrong way. And then really framing your offer in terms of benefits is really important too. And that's like something I've learned the hard way is I used to tell people, this is exactly what's in there. No, they don't want to know what's in there. They want to know how they're going to feel on the other side. They're going to feel confident. They're going to feel secure. They're going to feel connected. I'm trying to think of other words that apply to your offer. They're going to feel satisfied, satiated, intrigued. Like they're going to have these benefits on the other side. Don't get me started with poop. I'm a four boys here. I think Sam would like you to invite her into your kitchen and teach her how to bake pretty bread. Maybe so. That could be part of it for sure.
Sourdough.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you always want to circle back about like why they can trust you. And that's part of why knowing your story is so important. Knowing the struggles that you went through in your waiting phase, and then, wow, this finally happened. And then like knowing the struggles that you went through as you're building your farm and like how can you save other people from that is going to be really important as you kind of develop your transformation promise. I don't know what else to call it. I need a better name for it, but like there is a way of framing your entire like content strategy and offers around something that you just know. You're like, hey, this is my story.
Yeah.
This is what I offer people. This is how I connect with them. Found something that you just know. You're like, oh, okay, this is my story.
Yeah.
This is what I offer people. This is how I connect with them. And this is how I build trust and authority because it's like, I have been there. I'm going to take your hand. Let's do it together. So anyway,
Yeah.
I can send you a little outline later if that would be helpful. But
that would be super helpful.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. I am so grateful to be here with you guys. Rachel, thank you for being vulnerable, and thank you for letting me like kind of, pick your brain. And I'm really excited for you. I know that God's put this on your heart for a reason, and it is hard. It is hard, guys. It is hard to develop like this way of thinking. It's a totally different way of thinking of like, I'm going to make this offer and hopefully it sells. It's like, well, let's think about all the other marketing aspects first so that we can verify that. So I'm hoping maybe in the next week or two, we'll get to hear about that freebie that you're going to go make in Canva real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Canva.
Yes, so good. So that's like such a great place to start. So anybody who's thinking about this, like, what's your freebie? Like, let's just start there. We don't have to have the whole kit and caboodle. Like, let's just start with a freebie and see what happens with that. And
Right.
yeah. And see where that gets us. And then you'll be getting feedback from your people that way. And so, I mean, that's how I did it. And no regrets about that. Freebie, ebook, course, baby. That's my secret formula.
Look at you. Okay.
So anyway, I'm a big believer in starting with the freebie and testing. I accidentally test all the time. So yeah, well, I'm excited for you. Keep us posted on where you go with your freebie and your courses and your farm school. I know that all of this is on your heart for a reason.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being patient with me.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? I'm so glad you're here. This is such a real life example. Like I can't tell you how many times it's like I knew where I wanted to go with Hey, It's a Good Life, but like didn't know how to communicate that. And like it takes time, and you reserve the right to pivot at any point. And like it's such an onion process. There's so many layers. You like think that you've gotten to the core, and they're like, oh, another layer. Like I get it. And who knows? Like maybe Hey, It's a Good Life will kind of pivot again in the future. I always joke, I'm like, there's a little Ross Geller. He lives in my head. He's always telling me to pivot. But it's part of the process. It's so much, but you're here and you're doing it and you're putting in the work, and I think it's going to be really awesome, whatever you come up with. So rooting for you, and keep us posted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, same here. I'm rooting for your corner. Let me know how I can help. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. If you're on YouTube, thank you. If you are on Instagram, thank you. I'll be sending out the replay here in a second, so stay tuned for that. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow for day 3 of workshops.